Hello. So so I just want to say God is real, whether you subscribe to him or not. But if you give him just 3 days, and there's something about that three, like in the Bible it talks about, Jesus with the 40 nights and 40 days. And then, it talks about like the Esther fast, 3 days, and but there's power in three. 369 is the universe numbers, the universal numbers. And they don't want us to know that. You know, they want us to stay in the matrix. They want us, and I'm not saying for you guys to just up and leave, but hey, the government put it out there. I can use that. Back in the day, you could go to school, you may have not, depending on what time frame, not even just the racism and stuff like that, but just depend on the time frame. But way back in the day, you had a lot of people who were homeschooling, you know, which that's something I want to get into. I'm in between homeschooling and private school. But regardless of anything, they did a lot of homeschooling, and those children went far. Now you got the public education system, you know, and the kids are going through SATs, MCAS, this, that, and the third, all these things to put stress on their brain, but not help them for the future. K through 12 is really just putting us in another box to keep us confined from reaching our true potential. There's barely any art classes, and if you those classes, the art class is like 30 minutes, but the other class is an hour plus. What I'm saying is, if you need to go to private school, regular school, homeschooling, whatever, but public schooling, just do the 12 years. Just get the basic necessities, the basic knowledge that you need. And you can, but don't. Test my spirit, take it back to God, take it back to the divine creator, take it back to whomever you subscribe to, and ask if what I'm speaking and if my spirit is true. But get that basic knowledge. Or if you're homeschooled, get the knowledge. But you don't need to keep feeding into these institutions. You don't need to keep. So random. What's up with all these schools? Because I seen it on a video I was watching earlier, but I'm really like thinking about what's up with all these schools getting donations, and they're getting thousands, millions of donations. But where's it going to the kids? Like, I have children who are special needs, right? One of them more than the other due to I was pregnant, 7 to 8 months pregnant, and I was physically assaulted by my karmic familiar unit. Punches, kicked to the ground, everything. Then that said karmic, the karmic aunt, Carol, reaches out to the hospital and tells them not to see me. Literally. That's what I'm saying. People who have abused their power just to hinder and laugh. Like, do you not realize that? Like with the ignorant comment, somebody was like, "Oh, it's not my fault. You chose to be poor. You're poor. Whatever the case may be, baby. I am not poor. I am rich in spirit. I'd rather be rich in spirit than have all this money the wrong way. But I claim my abundance. I claim my inheritance. I claim all the money that is due to me and my children from the United States government, from Massachusetts, from my karmic familiar unit, from my karmic baby daddy, and all their friends, associates in the organizations, governments, even the landlords who are trying to cover their ass from sending me, emails and trying to get in my head and thinking I don't have security and, stability and stuff like that. The devil's always going to show their hand, and you're not bugging. I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. I send it back. Return to send it 1,000-fold. See, so now they're trying to send, projection spells and stuff like that to get me to shut up. Like, once you realize everything's spiritual, I'm telling you, you're not going to look at things the same. And please don't go into a spiritual psychosis, though. Please don't do that to yourself, because it can get a lot. You're going to realize, oh my gosh, my life was a lie. Everything that I've worked hard for wasn't a lie, but the way how I've obtained it may have been a lie. Whether you kept pouring into money to get these certificates and degrees, and sometimes you do need that, but then a lot of times you don't. It's just so these organizations, networks, secret societies, and stuff like that can keep getting rich, and for their platform to keep growing. Like currently, my house is, disclaimer, I can mention people, places, things, because my house is illegally surveillanced, illegally wiretapped. My landlords have signed on with the devil. I'm pretty sure right now that it's the Freemasons in a brotherhood that is going on. It seems like the Eastern Stars have backed up a little bit, but not really. I'm still hot on your tails, but now I'm bringing forth as far as the Freemasons, um, and the bad side of it. And honestly, thinking about it, I'm really thinking that all the organizations are corrupt from the head to the tail. Maybe back then it was good, but I'm even seeing that a lot of people are leaving the church. A lot of people are leaving these cults and covens, these secret societies, these sisterhoods and the brotherhoods, because they thought it was one thing. And now that so many of us, and I thank you guys, I think the light workers, I think the grid workers, I just think it's not even 144K anymore. There's so many more of us. It was limited because a lot of us weren't awake, but now there's so many more of us who are sitting there like, yo, fuck this shit. I am my own boss. I am my own god. I am my own queen. I am my own goddess. I am my own emperor. I am my own empress. I am her. I am him. And even if you don't, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Well, no, even if you're not at one with God, you're still at one within yourself, which that still is God, but you're of a higher vibration. You're no longer entertaining the negativity. You're no longer feeding the devil what he wants. You can do. And then there's going to be that little voice, which is the devil's like, no, you can't. You suck. You can't do that. You're not going to be this. You're not going to get that wish fulfillment. You're not going to be able to sustain that business. You can't start that business. Blah, 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 blah. Everybody doesn't like you. Blah, blah, blah. Don't even feed into it. More than likely, it's projection. And what I'm learning is a lot of people that were placed in my life, and I say that specifically, they were placed because I'm in the Truman 2.0 show. Jaleesa Queen Isis edition. Hello, nice to meet you. But God is always going to vindicate you. If you yourself, like nobody can tell you about you. If you know that you're of the light, you don't want to harm people, you're not manipulating people, you're not signing on deals with the devil, you're not signing other people's souls, you're not giving blood oaths, you're not sacrificing yourself or anybody to get ahead. You are doing the blood, sweat, and tears that you need to maintain and or build your foundation, maintain or build your legacy. There's nothing to worry about. It's the ones who sign their soul on to the devil, and it sucks too, and I have to put an emphasis on this. There's a lot of people who are going through fucked up situations, and then they're presented with a nice offer. Hey, I can make this disappear. Hey, I can help you obtain this. Hey, X, Y, and Z, I can help you if you do this. If you come against this person. If you go against the grain. If you sleep with me. You have lawyers and judges. And we've all seen it. Sorry to be like that, but look at Trump. Look at Epstein. They want to get rid of Epstein, which Epstein is very much alive. Epstein is not gone. Epstein, he's still here. They just have him under the radar. Trust me, that man is not gone. But back in the day, and again, I'm not into politics, I'm not into all that, but we have eyes, we see what comes across the screen and stuff. You had Epstein and Trump. Let's get Epstein out and make not just Trump, but these other politicians, let's put them in a higher light. So they're just going to dish away Epstein. You asked, and I brought. You called, and Giselle. You rang, and I answered the call. So basically, in a sense, they shot the messenger and not the message. So, and I'm not saying that what these people have done are right. Not at all. But abuse of power. There's always going to be a guy that knows a guy. There's always going to be a girl who knows a girl. You need this, you need that. Okay. Okay. But when you're aware, when you know, this is what I need, I made that call, and now look at the repercussions that's happening, you can't fault anybody else but yourself. Again, I'm not for it, but look at Diddy, look at R. Kelly. And I didn't even think of this, but let's bring it to this. With everybody, not even just the heinous crimes that they have done or they're being accused of, whatever. But look at the puppet masters. It happens to be an old white man in every case. You got Trump, you got Clive Davis, and then you do have other people too, but you're always gonna have that white man who's dangling. Then you're gonna have somebody else, and for the most part, they're gonna bring somebody that looks like you or that you can relate to. See, where I live, there's a lot of Spanish people, a lot of Portuguese and stuff like that, and not everybody's the same, but there's gonna be that stereotype, me in their neighborhood. But then when you look deeper and you realize what's what, we all shit brown, we all bleed red, and when we die, our ashes are gonna go back to the earth or in an urn. Still going back to the earth though. Either way you look at it, this meat suit is different from your meat suit. But how's our soul on the inside? I should be able to go anywhere, my children and I, and not be harassed. I should be able to not want to deal with family or friends that are toxic and not be harassed. I should be able to go into any establishment of any sorts and not be harassed. Yes, baby. 1 second. It paused at 12:20. I really can't even remember what I was saying. Oh man, universe, please bring it back. I hope this is where I picked off. I mean, where I left off. But yes, thank you, universe. But you should be able to go into any establishment, and as long as you're not disrespectful, I'm gonna treat you how you treat me, and not all the time. But if you're really disrespectful, I'm not gonna be disrespectful back, but I'm gonna let you know about yourself. And then if you're just disrespectful, and I'm not saying like, oh, test the waters with people. If you're disrespectful, I may just send a prayer. Like, I may let you know about yourself and say a prayer, or I may not even entertain it and just say a prayer for you, because not everything needs my energy. Everything's inward. As within, so without. As above, so below. But you know, you don't deserve to be mistreated just because you don't want to love somebody. You don't want to be with them. You don't want to deal with them, family, friends. You don't want to sign on to these organizations and stuff like that. But they look at it as, oh, you're being disrespectful. You're coming against the grain. You're going against the grain. No, I choose self first. And that goes for men too. Because I feel like us women, and women too, I feel like us women, forget the women right now, the men, it seems like, I'm not a man, so men, let me know in the comments, but it seems like they both get it hard from society. But it's almost like men can't be weak, show vulnerability, my grandfather in God's like, no, that's the PUSSY men. Because real men know that they're real men. Doesn't matter if they cry, they show emotion, whatever, So this is a message for the pussy that you don't have a man. You're not a man if you can't be vulnerable. You're not a woman if you can't be corrected. And it goes both ways. So I don't want to just be, oh, men can't be corrected or they can, and then women can't be vulnerable. No, no, no. But with society, women always got their hand out and men keep their hand to themselves. But it needs to be equal. mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. 15 on the timer.